So the first time I got my period, right, it was March 15, 2011. Oh, I still remember it because it was when Jordan Sparks was about to win American Idol, and it was a commercial break. So then I went to the bathroom, and then, I look back and there's blood, and I was like, Mom, come here! And then she came in, and I was like, I got my period. She was like, oh my gosh. She wasn't even excited. She was just like, just say no to boys. This means, you're a woman now. Always say no to sex. And I'm like, yes, Mom, I know. I know this already. So she taught me how to use the pad. And then she was like, okay, always remember, say no. I was like, Mom, I'm 11. We're not having sex with anybody. And then the next day, actually, I forgot. She didn't tell me that I had to change the pad periodically, and I bled all over my pants, and it was so embarrassing. She was like, I told you you're a woman. I was like, well, I didn't know what being a woman meant. You didn't tell me I had to actually change it. So that was my first experience.
So I was going into 7th grade in middle school, and it was on 4th of July. I remember because I was wearing white pants and a red shirt, and I started crying because I was going out to watch fireworks at my local high school, and I didn't go because I was wearing white. That's how I remember it.
First time I got my period, I was a late bloomer, so it was January 5th, my freshman year of high school. And I was at a sleepover with 2 relatively new friends because I went to a high school where I had not known anybody prior. And I don't know, it just happened, and then I kind of panicked a little bit, and I was just, my friends had already been experiencing it, so they knew what to do. And they helped me out. I texted my mom and was like, hey, can you buy me a box of pads, please? Thank you. My mom and I have never really talked about things like that, and so it was more of a, hey, let's deal with this and not talk about it. And to this day, I've never had a real conversation with my mother about my period.
A few days before or a few days after I turned 13. I had just turned 13. And my mom was never uncomfortable about answering questions. Any questions I had, I just asked her. So there was never any need for the talk. I just asked her questions. So I knew pretty much everything I needed to know between health class and school and my mom. And so I was in a fight with her, actually. We were arguing, and I went to the bathroom, and I had to pee, and I wiped, and I saw it come up, on the toilet paper. And I shouted, I opened the bathroom door and shouted at her. I was like, Mom! And she didn't want to come because she was mad at me. Obviously, we were fighting. And I was like, just come here. And she came, and I just stuck the bloody toilet paper out the door. And she goes, oh, well, you know where all the stuff is. It's in the closet. And I'll show you how to count the days on the calendar when you're done. And then that was literally it.
So the first time I got my period, I was in 7th grade. I was 12, and I was sitting in Italian class, and I remember that I got these weird cramps, and went to the bathroom, and I had my period. But I didn't tell my mom till maybe a month after I got it. I don't know. Just felt like it was something that I didn't really, couldn't really talk about with her or anyone. I had to deal with it by myself. Well, I don't know. I felt like it was something that, within my household, you just don't talk about. Just something that's, I was being introduced to the culture, and I didn't know how to bring it up. And then, one day, my mom just mentioned, me never having had my period yet. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got it, last month. And she was mad, but I didn't know how else to react.
And my mom had always talked to me about it. I wasn't concerned. I wasn't scared or nervous. Unlike my mom, who her mother told her nothing. So she thought she was dying And then when her mom was like, oh, you have your period, she literally just said, don't have sex with boys, and that was it. So I think that's why I got such a good experience from my mother, because her mom was horrible about it. So
how it made me feel when my mom was stressing the fact that say no to sex when I first got my period, I was just like, I guess I kind of understood where she was coming from, because I have a brother who's 7 years older than me who's having sex, so like I guess she didn't want me to follow in his footsteps. And then it made me feel like, whoa, like mom, like chill, like I'm only in 5th grade, like I'm not doing anything, I haven't even kissed a boy, like calm down, like I just got my period, let's just slow down the whole sex part, wait till I'm like a couple years older.
I don't know. It makes me feel like it's not a big deal. Like it wasn't addressed, so that kind of bums me out. But I've never put a lot of weight on it. It's just always been something I had to deal with and live with.
My mom was very like understanding, like because like she knew like I was like freaking out about it, so she just like calmed me down. Was like, it's part of life, like everyone has it. So I think I'd do the same.
I feel like because people think it's nasty, like, oh, like there's blood down there, like, and all that. I'm like, well, it's a natural thing. I feel like at that age, like boys are so immature and people are so immature, they don't understand if really like, yeah, like blood's coming out, like they think of it as like a nasty thing, not more like a natural biological thing. It makes me feel like I can't be open with people because it's like, yeah, like I have my period, like a boyfriend or whatever, like, you know, like you have to like work them up to that. It's like when to tell them like, yeah, I have my period, because otherwise they're like, no, like it'll get away from me. But it's like, you know, like you guys go through things, so it's like we go through things, it's just different. And I just feel like the maturity level just has to be up for guys, because it's not like we shouldn't have to hide it. They should just be understandable, like your mom, your grandma, your sister, your aunt, your cousin, your daughter is going to get it. So you might as well just take it all in for what it is.
I do not know. I think unfortunately we're still trying to break down barriers about not being uncomfortable with our bodies. And I think it does not just stop at periods. I think there are a lot of things that happen with our bodies that we want behind closed doors, whether that's farting or burping or taking a crap, whatever it is. People don't want to see girls handing tampons to each other. People don't want to see women breastfeeding. It's just the act of anything happening with your body is taboo and disgusting and needs to be kept quiet. And I'm not sure why it makes people so uncomfortable, but it does. I think that unfortunately applies to periods too. Like period stains. I mean, can you imagine you're in school and you bleed through your pants and everyone's looking and pointing and laughing, or your teachers are behind you, especially male teachers. I don't know if you've ever noticed, like in school, if you wanted to say like get out of gym, all you had to say is I've got my period, and he would like freak out and just, you're excused from whatever. Or if he saw that you were in gym and you got a stain, he freaked out. I don't know what that was. I don't know why it was so scary. Especially weird for gym teachers, because typically your gym teachers are also your health teachers. And they're teaching this stuff to us anyway. It's not like they've never seen a period before. It's not like they don't know what it is.
Girls like don't poop, they don't do anything. Like they're like perfect. Like girls always try to be perfect, and like having like your period is like a flaw, I guess, to some people. So I would say like that. I just think it's because of society, because girls are like are held to like a standard that they like have to be perfect, like they can't have any imperfections, and like having your period might be an imperfection to some of them. I don't know, it's blood. Like when you think of blood, people would think of like the hospital and like surgery and like just grossness, but like in general it's a part of life. Like everyone gets it. I have an older sister, so she was conscious whenever like she got her period, so I was kind of like grew up with like thinking it was gross.
I think it's the type of thing where no one is talking about it, so the silence builds the stigma. And while it was viewed as dirty and unclean in history, we know it's not now, but because no one talks about it and no one's voices are heard and no one goes out of their way to be like, by the way, I'm menstruating, like, that's inappropriate because everybody keeps quiet about it. I remember in middle school, there was a girl, she was very not liked. I don't know, she was awkward and not very popular, but I don't know if anybody else had really, I guess probably that's when everybody else was starting to get their periods, but she put a pad in her pocket and you could see the top coming out of her pocket. It was a sweater pocket. And she went to leave and go to the bathroom, and one of the guys turned to her and went, "Hey, what's in your pocket?" And she cried because she kept trying to tell him, "Nothing, there's nothing in my pocket. I don't know what you're talking about." And she kept trying to play it off and play it off. And it was just so ridiculous to me that any of that had to happen.
I don't know. I really can't even explain it to you. Like, I just didn't feel like it was appropriate to bring it up. I think that speaks volumes about the society that we grow up in, or in the culture that fosters, that we foster. We're taught at a young age that, like, you know, like, periods, they're like dirty, they're disgusting, like, you know, it smells, whatever, you know, girls get mood swings, they're not really spoken about in a positive light. So it's like, so I guess when it finally happens to you, there's a sense of shame that comes over you, even though you're finally a woman now. It's like you're no longer innocent, like you're just like there's something impure about you that we have to try to hide, because women aren't supposed to be dirty, they're not supposed to be unkept, it's supposed to be sanitary, and periods aren't sanitary.